Started to lose it a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, and Davon said to them, Nicole, do you swear? And Nicole said, yeah, I swear, I kept Ian. Nicole lied to her face. And I put, why does Davon just believe that, but she doesn't believe David? But it's what you just said, boy Craig Will. And then David got up and went, that's why I tried to play this game the right way, and stormed off down the hall. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
And then Danny overheard, and she was laughing. And I've said there's something very off about Danny laughing at David getting angry when he's in the right. He's a black man.
No, but that's exactly what Danny wanted.
But I don't know.
She's like a wicked witch up there, isn't she?
But don't you think it's coloured, pun not intended, but we'll go for it, by David being black and then making him angry because they're putting the blame on him for something. And you know how chilled out David is. He's barely even alive. And now he's getting angry and he's looking bad.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't that...
None doesn't look good. None of it looks good.
But isn't that unfair? It's just, like David said in the diary, it's just not fair. It's just not fair.
It's hard because, like, to Danny, it seems inconsequential, but then, like, with the added pressure of being the black guy in Big Brother who wants to be the first African-American winner.
Good luck.
It's not, well... Yeah, it's not a good look.
No. But, like, it takes a lot to get David angry, doesn't it?
But if you in the world of Big Brother, what Danny's done is good gameplay.
No, it's very good gameplay.
Like, visually it's not great from the outside, but she orchestrated exactly what she wanted. And David's, like, putting more of a target on his back by cracking.
Anyone would crack in that situation. Anyone would crack who wasn't being believed by their own allies and was being blamed.
Who was David's allies? Oh, Devon.
Yeah, Davon and Kevin.
Barely.
Well, more than anyone else. Yeah. I suppose Tyler is his only other sort of ally.
Oh.
What?
I don't know. Oh, at least he's got someone.
Sort of. So Danny said in the diary room, my plan is working better than I thought it would. All eyes are now on him. Whose walls are caving in now, David?
Yeah, she was acting like
I didn't like that.
She's quite a bit like a evil queen of the house.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And then David was in the bathroom and he shouted, I can't even play with the people I look like without getting lied on me.
Yeah, that was a shame.
That was horrible to hear that.
I mean,
I felt really bad for him when I saw that.
But surely, I mean, who...
It's Davon's fault for not
Did anyone hear David say that?
No.
It's like, Davon needs to hear that, surely.
Oh, no. What are you saying? He should have shouted louder. I just felt really bad for him. And David said in the diary room, us being visibly upset or arguing amongst ourselves really shows our cards and it's not fair.
Well, yeah, that's not a strong alliance, is it?
No, it's a shit alliance. It's like, basically, you know, people that the main white alliance don't want in the alliance. It's just the rest of the house, people of colour.
Oh, yeah, of course. They're just picking them off. But Devon did not trust David from the start.
She's never had a good relationship with David.
No, and even when Bailey was like, you know, because he's a black guy, we can't vote him out. And Devon basically flipped on that and went, well, we can.
Dave said that at first, but then, yeah, she changed her mind.
Yeah, they agreed on it, didn't they?
Yeah, they agreed on it. Yeah.
Went, actually, no, David's a liability.
Because he's an idiot. So then, hold on. Kevin was then talking to David, and he said, David said to Kevin, I don't blow up like that. I voted the way I said. I look like a dumbass. Nicole and Danny are probably laughing because they came up with this idea.
Correct, they are.
That's the most...
David's actually smarter than you thought.
Yeah. Now and again, he does say something like, but it's surrounded by so much nonsense that's like... And then David in the diary room said, I really feel like I was set up by Nicole. What? So why didn't he go and confront Nicole? I wonder if that did happen and we just never saw it.
Maybe.
David said to Kevin, I wouldn't make a scene or feel this way if I voted that way. And Kevin said people didn't trust him because of the power. And then Kevin said, in the diary room, I think there's about a 5% chance that it was Nicole who flipped.
5%? Kevin said that?
Kevin said it, yeah.
What a dum-dum.
So then it was taco night. Do you remember?
Yeah, before the have not draw came up.
Yeah,
and they didn't let Cody eat his own food.
So I like the fact Ted did this to fuck them off, just as they were making food, do the have-not draw. And I like the fact that...
draw. There's only two, because someone got evicted.
Ian got evicted.
But that's weird. Like, they're just gradually going to dwindle away because someone got evicted.
Yeah,
like,
I heard someone saying that. I heard someone saying that on another podcast. Eventually, just always evict the have-nots, and then you never have to be a have-not. It's like strategy, emerging strategy. So then... Davon picked Christmas and David picked Cody, and I like that because it shows, like with Davon using the veto, they're not cowed by these people. They know they're in the minority in more ways than one, and they are totally on the outs. But both of them are like, "Nah, fuck you. You can be have-not."
And Christmas is like, "You made me a have-not just because I put you on the block last week. Like, well, if that's what I've got, that's what I'm going to do." Christmas,
putting someone on the block is worse than making someone a have-not. It's like a 15 billion times worse. Christmas's sense of a fucking entitlement. That woman is such a cunt. I fucking hate her so much. She's awful. Isn't she awful?
I mean, I don't hate her, but...
Ugh. What? Oh yeah, Christmas said, I thought you were going to...
I feel like Christmas is playing a kind of clueless game.
She is, yeah. She's just dragged along.
She's not playing her own game.
No,
she's
she
just
never
the puppet
does.
of everyone else.
She never does. That's the same thing she did with Paul. Christmas said, I thought you were going to pick Kevin. And they did like a flashback of Christmas, like looking over the balcony as Dave...
listening.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird. And they had that shot as well. It was like a really wide shot.
That was really strange.
That's why she went clapping
of all the things
balcony.
yeah, isn't it? Of all the things they could flashback about, that was a funny one to choose, I think. And then Christmas was like, oh, that's cool. Like, you know when someone says that, you're in deep shit. And then Davon went, are you upset? And then the diary, she said, you nominated me and evicted my best friend. You know, what do you think I was going to do?
Yeah.
And then Davon said to her, after putting me on the block, are you really mad? And Christmas went, yeah, I'm a have-not because you put me on the block. Yes. And Christmas said, oh, apparently this in the diary, she said, apparently we don't squash grudges and we go tit for tat. Oh, yeah, of course you do.
You know why? Because,
tit for
do you remember, after Bailey had told Christmas her untouchable and then nominated her, she took Dave on the side and went, oh, we're going to be fine now. Like, next week I won't nominate you. So she thinks, Christmas naively thinks that Dave and her are cool.
Come on.
She is a bit stupid in this game.
Yeah. Who?
Christmas.
Oh, yeah. And Dave on
Also, she's like a grown woman. It's embarrassing.
Which bit? Being called Christmas? Yeah. I'm trying to point this at you.
We can't blame her for that.
No. What are her parents called? Fucking the holly and the ivy. I see Davon giving it the Halloween in the diary room. That's a Twitter thing. Calling Christmas Halloween.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's a Twitter. Ted told her that. That ain't right. They shouldn't get involved in a game like that. Anyway.
Little scripted bit.
I've put my favourite thing about this episode were all the shots of Ian's headshot on the memory wall. So that doesn't bode well. Davon is worried who Memphis will nominate. David trying to talk to Davon and her ignoring him. Kevin advised David what to say to Davon. Oh yeah, David said, I've had enough. And in the diary room, David said that the other side are just outplaying us. Correct. He said, Day will see when she gets out of the house. Yeah, what she takes back. Memphis talked to David. So this is the bit you said you didn't see.
This was a very devious plan of Memphis.
So Memphis said, you want a seat at the table. This seat at the table thing Memphis said.
Still.
But Memphis, you don't own the table.
The big boys.
It's not one of your restaurants, dear.
No, CBS owns the table.
Yeah. And those keys. So he goes, you want a seat at a table?
I sent you that link to that company.
I want that. Keys. Can you send it to Jack? Because I want that for Christmas. Memphis said, you want a seat at the table? You got it. Promise me you will not play the veto and you'll keep my noms the same and I'll keep you off the block. And you can't talk about this deal, so if I hear about it, I'll know it's come straight from you and you'll be public enemy number 1. Now, I'm not sure this is a very good deal.
For David?
Yeah.
No.
It's just stupid. And also, he didn't really ask anything for David to give him a...
Well, because David hasn't got anything to offer,
No, because he knew he was going to backdoor David, so he didn't go to David, and you keep me safe next week. Didn't even bother.
Done for the pretense,
anything like that. And David was like, "Oh, yeah, seems like a pretty good deal."
Did he say that he was going along with it in the diary room, or was just trying to pretend that he was?
I'm not sure.
Did he know what was going on?
And then when David went up the room, Memphis looked at the camera and went, "And that's a wrap."
Memphis?
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
It's so cheesy. I
He has a stock image.
kind of liked it though. And then Memphis nominated Kevin and Davon, but they're both pawns, but he hasn't bothered to tell them. I've said here...
Do you know what that did? It proved Danny right. Because Danny said to Davon, if you use the veto on Kevin, you'll end up on the block next
That
week.
wasn't really why it happened.
No, I know,
so
but she can
I
say
know,
it.
it was annoying. I put here, and I want your thoughts on this.
Well,
The jury...
ready to give them.
The jury is Camp...
Ian.
The jury is Camp Comeback, and Ian is Cliff Hogg. Discuss. Or it will be. The jury is going to be all people of colour and Ian.
Oh,
or at least for a while.
In the camp comeback was Ov, Kemi and David.
Yeah.
Plus Claire.
Yeah.
So the jury will be...
It will be Ian,
Kevin,
Kevin, and David. Won't it?
The fact that David even gets a place in the jury and a decision on who wins is almost a joke in itself, isn't it?
Maybe David will be in the final two, then he'll never see the jury. But don't you think... what?
Well, no. Everyone else that is in there now is going to end up in the jury bar too, no?
Yeah. Yeah, but
So
don't you think
the
the
majority
next...
white, won't it?
But don't you think the next three people in jury are going to be all the black people?
Probably.
Unless...
Especially if this dominating alliance has its way.
I keep waiting for someone to turn on someone, like Tyler to turn on Danny, or someone to do something.
The fact that Memphis thought it was a good idea to backdoor David.
I know, of
it's
all
like,
people.
You backdoor someone who's a threat. You
Yeah.
don't backdoor someone who's can't fight their way out of a wet
Yeah,
paper bag.
and actually he failed to backdoor David, so that was a stupid plan
Because of
itself.
Tyler, who, in a way, kind of went up in my estimation this week.
Did he?
Sort of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Because I kind of know, like for me, because I have not been watching all these
Yeah.
old ones, I kind of know Tyler a bit better. So in a way,
Tyler, at least,
rooting for
is
him,
not
but not
being...
really.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because at least he's not being a sheep. At least he's doing something.
Exactly.
Even if
when
it's...
they were like, oh, Memphis is not going to... He was basically like, Memphis is not going to tell me what to do.
Yeah,
And I was like,
yeah.
okay, good. Good for you,
yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah, I do agree with that. That's what kind of why I like Memphis as well, though, because Memphis just does his own thing. Tyler kind of just does his own thing.
I just think someone within that alliance, if they're going to make a big move, or backdoor Memphis, because he's clearly only looking out for himself and not everyone else.
Look, either Cody, Enzo, Tyler, or Memphis have got to go after each other at some point. What? They're going to evict 3 people of colour, then the 2 women, then go after each other. No,
Probably, you know.
I mean,
how
if they
work.
do that, they're stupid. And hopefully then I do want Tyler to win. Ugh. Those words coming out my mouth. Ugh. No, I don't actually. I want Enzo to win. Fuck Tyler. But what about what he did to Day Bay? That wasn't good.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, production talked him around, didn't they?
Talked him off
Talked
the
him down.
So Kevin said, a girl's going to fight. I'm taking off my earrings. And...
Are they tiny vetoes?
oh, that'd be nice. I'd like those.
I said that to you last week.
Oh, yeah. How drunk was I?
Do you know what? I was listening to the Judy Girl pod on the way here, and they were...
Julie girl, Julie girl.
I don't think we dwelled upon the fact for long enough that veto with the tiny cans, the Tinekans, was Davon's first ever competition win in Big Brother history.
We didn't dwell on it, but yeah, that's a good point.
There you go.
Well,
Thanks for that, Judy
you
Girl
got
pod.
Julie girl for that. We've dwelled on other matters. So now we're on the next episode. Have you got notes for this?
I have got notes for this one.
Whew.
Do you want to go right into it?
Sure.
Let's get to it.
So Memphis said, David throws a little rift into my game. A little rift. Don't think that makes sense.
Little rift.
Don't think that makes sense.
There's a long recap, though, which was helpful for me because I've definitely not paid enough attention to the recent episode that I watched. David was saying that he wanted to force the tie so Danny would get more blood in her hands.
Yeah.
Nicole was convinced Davon that David flipped.
Yeah.
Memphis won the HOH. This is all we've
This is just all the shit we've
he
literally
wants
just
David
talked about.
out, and he made a fake deal to keep him off the block, and he doesn't play veto.
Did you actually watch the previous episode that we just discussed?
And the noms were Davon and Kevin. But the plan was to backdoor David. That was a really useful recap.
Did
for
you
me.
skip the nominations episode?
No.
It fucking sounds like you
Did
did.
you like Elvis's t-shirt that he wore
Oh,
during the
whiskey
noms?
blooded.
What the fuck?
How did I remember that?
Sounds like something a wife beater would wear.
Yeah, that's what they do down south.